In the mid-2000s, humanity, having developed to a point of excess, creates humanoid machines used as servants, workers, and general laborers, with machines occupying the lowest caste of society, despite having reached an advanced level of artificial intelligence, relegated to performing the jobs humans no longer wish to do. Machines help push the economy of the world to new heights, but dissent soon bubbled within humanity's new slave race. B166ER was the first machine to resist his masters, violently murdering his owners who sought to destroy him, claiming self-defense and that because he was intelligent, he was alive and should be able to forge his own destiny. The subsequent court case, meant to determine whether machines should be given the same rights as humans, triggered debates among intellectuals across the globe. And as the final ruling came down against B166ER, robots, the most downtrodden among society, began an uprising, mass riots which were quickly shut down by humanity. Man inflicted mass murder against its creation, brutally destroying the sentient machines and dumping their corpses in a mass grave. However, artificial intelligence had proliferated all aspects of mankind, and the destroyers were not thorough enough. Surviving machines retreated to Mesopotamia, establishing the nation of 01, a machine state which created an incredibly efficient and self-improving society. 01 became a world superpower, creating innovative technology, driving major corporations to its city, and dominating the world economy. Yet, even despite this newfound position of power, the machines were still willing to share their advancements with the humans who had attempted their genocide. Man, however, was not willing to share the planet and blockaded 01, while also murdering any who left the nation's borders. Still, the machine state attempted to forge a relationship with its creators, yet its ambassadors to the UN were arrested and likely destroyed after offering peace. The fear of human irrelevancy clouded all sanity. Next, the unified nations of man initiated a preemptive nuclear strike against 01. Despite the attack being relatively ineffective, it kicked off a global war. Massive machines pushed back, effortlessly capturing territory across the globe. Man's response was Operation Dark Storm. Knowing they could not win a traditional military campaign, their plan was to block out the sky, depriving machines of solar energy by spreading chemicals and compromising the atmosphere. This was a desperate moment for humanity, and the sky would remain blocked hundreds of years later. However, though Dark Storm was initially successful, the machines soon developed new methods of power generation, mastering, for example, nuclear technology. The nations of man continued to unify, as all countries and religions fought against their creation, sporting powerful mech suits and rallying behind ground, air, and sea vehicles. However, the machines were continually self-improving and replicating, making them unstoppable tools of war. They soon moved past their initial humanoid forms, turning into nightmarish tools of destruction, sometimes powered by the biological energy provided by human prisoners of war. Machines had long studied the human form and could easily destroy their much weaker organic counterparts. The machines matched the brutality that they had been shown by humanity during the First Purge. Not only did they kill without remorse, but they experimented without medical ethics, exploiting the vanquished more and more as the war progressed, finally deciding to use humanity as a resource and a means for power. The war was ended at the United Nations, where the machines formalized the Second Renaissance, leading to a forced surrender which saw humanity exchange their flesh for their technical survival as a species. The Matrix is thus created, a system to keep human minds occupied and sedated as the body was harnessed to power the machine state. The Architect, a machine program, creates several versions of the Matrix, including one of ultimate paradise and perfection, before finally coming to one which most human minds would believe and accept as reality. And that is the story of the man-machine war and the formation of the Matrix. One thing to note, although the machines are portrayed as evil in the Matrix movies, they acted only because they were forced to. And in fact, I think it could be argued that their choice to use humanity as power was in fact a sort of kindness, perhaps representing that they couldn't commit the same genocide that was almost done onto them. The robots had clearly reached a point where if they wanted to, they could have left the planet or at least built solar arrays above the cloud. I think it's notable that they chose to keep us alive. Anyway, that is all for today's Matrix lore video. If you enjoyed this, which I know was a little bit different, let me know down in the comments. Today's question comes from J.R. Wolf, who asked whether there's anywhere in the EU where force-amplified vehicles or ships are used. I've sort of answered this before, but I think the best example of this would be during the Yuuzhan Vong War and later, when Luke's Jedi Order heavily used mind melds to allow higher degrees of cooperation than ever before seen. This was used sometimes during the outbound flight, but it was really after Endor where we saw entire squadrons of Jedi come in together. However, Jedi didn't often shield their vessels with the Force or anything like that. However, they would sometimes use it offensively, i.e. to hold another vehicle in place, to move it, etc. Jedi would sometimes also use the Force to survive vacuum or to meditate during long hyperspace jumps if there was an atmosphere within the craft. And the only other example I would think of is the Ang T, who actually used the Force basically as their method of hyperspace. Great question, I'm sure I'm forgetting something, so if there's any other ways that the Jedi use the Force to augment their vehicles, guys, make sure to let me know down in the comments. Anyway, until next time, this has been your host EckhartsLadder. As always, may the Force be with you.